Welcome back, kiddies. This is the fourth video of Chapter 11, A Twisted Tale of Hard Work. And let's get cracking. I want to quickly review that we actually have been learning quite a bit about problem number 1, how our DNA makes us unique and how it helps us live a healthy life. So let's quickly talk about how DNA guarantees we have a unique and healthy life. So we learned that the DNA itself is codes for building organisms, whether it's a unique dinosaur or a unique gorilla. Sections of DNA act as code to build the body. We're also learning that it doesn't just build the body, but it's really building proteins like this receptor protein right here. So when it builds proteins, you're building part of the body. And when you add up all the proteins, you have yourself an organism. So that's hundreds of thousands of different proteins, all having different functions that make our phenotype, whether a human, a kitten, a gorilla, or a dinosaur. All right, let's keep moving. We learned that sometimes DNA, like with baby Riley here, doesn't lead to health because there's damaged DNA. So if the DNA isn't correct for a specific gene, it makes a protein that doesn't work right, and so you actually are unhealthy. Now, Riley was born this way, but the choices you make in life can actually damage your DNA too. And we'll learn more about that. It's called a mutation. Riley's mutation caused a protein that didn't work, and he barely could breathe due to cystic fibrosis, a genetic disease called cystic fibrosis. We also learned that different versions of alleles, dominant recessive versions, make our phenotypes different. It makes us unique. So if your skin's darker, you definitely have a different nucleotide sequence than someone next to you who may have darker or lighter skin. So the sequence, the order of these nucleotides have everything to do with how healthy you are and also how unique you are, because everybody has unique versions of genes or alleles in different orders. How unique we are as a species and how different we are from other species has everything to do with our DNA. We left off on this table. I want to make sure I help you finish it. So this is slide 23. This should be in your notes if you haven't done it. Our last video quickly talked about it but didn't finish. So I'm here to help you get slide 23 done. So you're supposed to copy the vocab down. I'm sure you've done that. But how do you use the table you may need a little help with? You basically pick two species. I know they have weird words. This is the Latin species name. Don't get caught up in the name. Just know how to spell it. But if you cross two species, you'll find a number. So A thallion, so A thallion here, and X laevis. So where these two species intersect is a number, 38. That means they have 30% of their DNA similar. So you have 30% of their DNA, their nucleotides are the same. That means, what, 64%, or sorry, wrong species here. That means 42% of their DNA is different. So they're more different in their DNA than similar. Let's look at another species though, X borealis. X borealis is 100% genetically or DNA similar to another individual of the same species, X borealis. So where you see these hundreds, it's comparing the same species to itself. So obviously P. lividus right here is 100% genetically the same as P. lividus here. That's where they line up. Ignore the hundreds because those are too obvious. What I want you to do is find a number here that's really big. Should be above 70. Here we have one. So this is X borealis and X laevis. 79%. They are 79% genetically the same. Their nucleotides are 79% similar. Please use that in the to-do, which is to find one species that is similar genetically and one that is very different. So I'm helping you with figuring out what the similar species is. So 79%. So you could say X borealis and X laevis are 79% similar. Now look through here and find a really low number and find the lowest number you can, and those two species have the least nucleotides similar. And then you write that as your answer. So you have one species I gave you, 79% genetically similar nucleotides between X borealis species and the X laevis species. And then your job is to repeat that by finding a species that has very little nucleotide similarity. All right, moving on. The next problem we want to focus more on is not just how DNA makes us unique or healthy, but why do we want these proteins? Why do we want our DNA to make these proteins? Now, we've talked about it a little. We know that proteins help us with immunity. So we have special molecules that help us identify and get rid of pathogens. We know that some proteins help us sleep or respond to stress, hormones. We know some are special transport proteins that get the good things in and out of our cells. So we've talked about that. We know that proteins are important. Let's keep moving with that. Let's learn some new reasons why we should care about protein in the body. First things first, slide 25. And slide 25 wants you to think about all the things you can think about when you hear that word protein. Your job is in your notebook to write slide 25 and then take half a page up to create this brainstorm web right here. So create a brainstorm web that has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 bubbles, and your job is to, in 4 bubbles, write information that you think about when you're in science class and you hear the word protein. What are important concepts to consider? So 4 topics, 4 ideas that comes to mind when you hear the word protein. All right, good luck. When you come into class later, you will get help with the other 3 remaining bubbles, all right? And that'll be a group activity we do. All right, but just brainstorm, think about what do you know about protein so far in class, or why do you think the body needs it so much? In 4 bubbles, write what you think. Slide 27, let's write the definition. So first write slide 27 in your notebook, and then here's our definition. It says DNA equals, it's used as instructions to build proteins. So DNA, locked into our cells, are instructions to build proteins, like these in this image. These are different proteins made from different sections of DNA. So the genes contain instructions for making the proteins, and the genes are just parts of the DNA, which are part of a chromosome, which are found inside your cells. Now, the activity for this slide is to look at this whole model. This is a great model. It says, what's the model showing you that's important about DNA? So looking at this picture, what's the model showing you that's important about DNA? What is it showing that DNA does? What's the point of it? So just write in your own words what you think this model wants you to learn about DNA. And you just write it in your own words what you think it's showing you here. And then you're done with slide 27. Let's keep moving. Slide 28 here. So in your notebook, please write slide 28 and then get the definition for protein. It says proteins are made or built one molecule at a time using the DNA as instructions. And that's the nucleotides as instructions. So all those, that specific order of nucleotides. Like you see in this picture, this code right here, the nucleotides, make a specific protein. And if you change these nucleotides, you change the instructions, you change the protein. And that could be good or bad. It says proteins allow your body to move, allows your cells to move. Proteins themselves are these unique polymers in the body that can move and change their shape. Proteins also can speed up all those chemical reactions that your body needs to survive, to live, to build itself, to grow, or to repair yourself if you're hurt, if you're cut or broken injury, any of these things, right? So proteins have a lot of important jobs, and DNA basically builds all the different parts of your body because all the parts of your body are made up of these special proteins. So everything physical you can touch, you're talking about proteins. The entire body, everything you can see about a phenotype is due to proteins. Your hair is proteins. Your nail is proteins. Your skin cells, the skin you see on somebody, that's all the proteins, the structure of everything. Even the inside things you don't see, the digestion of food, eating food, it's all due to proteins doing good hard work. Let's learn more though. I want you to summarize for slide 28 the function of each of these proteins. So I'm going to set this slide up and I'm going to let the video play. And I want you, as the video plays, I expect you to be able to write summaries for defense. So some proteins help defend your body. Some proteins help cells communicate to each other. Some cells are enzymes. What's their job? Some cells transport. What's that job? So I want you to watch this video that'll be playing on the slide. And as it's playing for slide 28, you need to list all these in your notebook: defense, communication, enzymes, transport, storage, and structure. And for each, after the video, I want you to write what you remember what that protein did for each category. Good luck. So it's all about the functions and the appearance of these different proteins. So you should be listing these, of course, in your notebook one more time. I'm going to let the video play, and it's going to cover them. Let's follow along. So these are the different categories of proteins. So what does a defense protein do? Watch this. What is it showing happening? So this little T-shaped thing is an antibody, and it's connecting to viruses. So it helps connect the viruses and get rid of them. Communication. Here's an example. It's called insulin. So this protein here is insulin. It's binding to another molecular structure of the body. And look at this glucose. Oh, glucose is going in the cell. So communicators like insulin help your body absorb good things. Helps your cells absorb good things. Let's see if we can't get enzymes now. What are enzymes doing? So we know the communicators are proteins that help the body and help the cells know what to do, like absorb this sugar. So some of the proteins are just messengers that tell the cell what to do. Enzymes, like this thing, let's see what it does. These are long enzymes here. This is a carbohydrate, so it's a long carbohydrate that something ate. This protein enzyme was breaking it down. So the enzymes in that example broke it down. Then you have transport. What is this protein here doing? What is it transporting? Oh, it's putting in these, it's throwing specific atoms inside the cell, if you pay close attention right here. So the transporter are special proteins that help transport things into the cell. This is storage. And this is a protein that is storing iron atoms. Iron atoms are very useful for the body. So storage, so sometimes proteins are just little containers that hold important stuff the cell needs inside it. So sometimes proteins just hold things like a bag, a little molecular bag inside the cell. And then finally, let's look at structure. This is a protein called collagen. And it has a complex structure, like a twisted rope. Okay, and they line up in a certain way. Let's see what they do. So they create fibers in the body. So certain proteins are creating these long fibers to make your tendons. So in this example, the collagen was a structure of protein, and it creates the ligaments or tendons in your body so that muscle can attach to bone. So some structures like collagen help the body connect big parts of your body together, like muscle and bone. All right, if that got confusing or if we went too quick talking about each one, go ahead and pause and replay the video, and you'll have no problem getting the list of different things these proteins were doing to help your body. So we've talked about some proteins. Hopefully you have a better sense of this question here, why you should even care about why we need proteins. Hopefully you get a sense that a lot of them have a lot of important functions, like you see in this graphic, that keep your cells running smoothly and keep you healthy. So have a great day, and stay tuned for our video number 5 from chapter 11, A Twisted Tale of Hard Work. Have a great day.